Welcome to 1 in a billion moments in nature, where every scene is real rare and full of discovery value. From the power of nature and the remarkable behavior of animals to unbelievable scientific phenomena, let's begin the journey right now. This is a classic example of bridge scour, one of the leading causes of bridge damage and collapse during major floods around the world. What makes flooding so dangerous is not only the depth of the water, but also the speed of the current. In India, the force of the water was powerful enough to overturn and sweep away a bus weighing tens of thousands of pounds. Just seconds after detonating at a depth of about 500 feet, the Wahoo test produced a water column nearly 850 feet high, demonstrating the terrifying power of an underwater nuclear explosion. If you become trapped in quicksand at Mont Saint-Michel, the most important thing is not to struggle. Strong movements mix the sand and water, causing the body to sink deeper and making escape more difficult. What you are seeing is a fire whirl in the Mount Bromo Savannah wildfire area. It forms when intense heat, wind, and convection combine, causing flames to rotate at extremely high speed.
Allá quedó gente, che. Ahí quedó gente.
Cold air and high humidity from snow can increase electrical discharge around high-voltage power lines, creating the glowing streaks and hissing sounds you see here. If you were caught in the current at Saltstraume, you would be facing one of the strongest tidal currents in the world, where water can flow as fast as 25 miles per hour when the tide changes direction. A major landslide paralyzed a highway in Taiwan after thousands of tons of soil and rock lost stability and collapsed under the force of gravity following heavy rainfall. If you opened a cabin door and found hundreds of birds circling inside like this, would you try to guide them out first or stop to record the moment? This is a reminder that more than 70% of Earth's surface is covered by oceans, and most of what swims beneath the surface remains hidden from our view.
Oh, mate, you snagged on something.
Got it, steady.
What the hell is that? Jesus Christ! Move it!
Twist it, watch the tail.
Oh, God! Hit it! Rope tighten, don't let it slip! Yeah, loose.
This alien-looking creature is actually a giant sea spider of the genus Colossendeus, a deep-sea arthropod adapted to the immense pressure found at depths of nearly 3.4 miles. What you're seeing may simply be an optical illusion. Clear ice can refract and magnify the shapes of objects beneath it, making them appear like mysterious creatures. Do you think this is an unknown creature or just a natural phenomenon playing tricks on our eyes? Let us know what you think in the comments. Remarkably large pythons are capable of swimming for miles in search of food or new habitats, so encountering one in a river is not as unusual as many people might think. This is the Pacific walrus, the largest walrus species on Earth. Adult males can weigh more than 3,300 pounds and typically gather in large groups outside the breeding season. This cloud over Saudi Arabia is not emitting a laser beam. The effect is created as tiny water droplets scatter and reflect light, making it appear as though a beam is shining from inside the cloud. Chirodectes is one of the rarest box jellyfish genera in the world. To date, scientists have documented it in the wild only twice. Which state or country are you watching from? Let us know in the comments and tell us if you've ever seen a meteor shower with your own eyes. Hundreds of reindeer began running in synchronized circles as a veterinarian approached. This natural defensive behavior helps protect the young gathered in the center while making it more difficult for predators to single out an individual. This is a feather star, an echinoderm, that has existed on Earth for more than 300 million years. Using dozens of feathery arms, it filters plankton from the water, creating movements that make it appear to float through the sea. What makes the leptocephalus so remarkable is its nearly transparent body, its paper-thin form, and its gelatinous composition. It can drift with ocean currents for long periods before transforming into a juvenile eel. Off the coast of São Paulo, Brazil, a giant jellyfish measuring more than 33 feet in length was recorded. Most of that extraordinary length comes from its long trailing tentacles, which it uses to capture prey and defend itself. This is a perfect camouflage strategy. Instead of running away, the orange oak leaf butterfly makes it nearly impossible for predators to notice its presence.
整个身上不走了，漂亮得很。
The goats in Tamri have adapted to the dry climate by climbing argan trees, turning the branches into grazing fields in the air. This adorable creature is the Dumbo octopus, a deep-sea octopus that lives at depths ranging from 10,000 to more than 23,000 feet, where sunlight can no longer reach. Do you think this flock contains more than 10,000 birds? Comment yes or no below. Dust devils in Japan are not connected to thunderstorms. They form when there is a strong temperature difference between the heated ground and the air above it. At the Rance tidal power station between Saint-Malo and Dinard in France, the rise and fall of the tides combined with the dam system can create a massive whirlpool capable of pulling floating objects toward its center. A pod of dolphins swims through bioluminescent waters in Southern California, where millions of tiny plankton glow blue when disturbed. In Peru, the Inca rope bridge was rebuilt by local residents after it collapsed. What makes it remarkable is that the bridge is still woven entirely from grass using a traditional technique more than 500 years old. Odin's Eye. Ice cave is the popular name for a rare ice formation created when light water and ice come together under very specific temperatures and lighting conditions. Its appearance evokes images from Norse mythology, but it is entirely the product of natural physical processes. The neon green water at Goldstream Provincial Park is the result of fluorescent, a fluorescent dye, commonly used in hydrological studies to trace the direction and speed of water flow. When illuminated, fluorescent produces its distinctive bright green color, making underground and surface water movement easy to observe. In recent years, governments around the world have released more information about unidentified aerial phenomena. What's most interesting isn't necessarily the objects themselves, but the fact that even today's advanced monitoring systems are still collecting data and have yet to reach definitive conclusions about many atmospheric events. What do you find more fascinating, the unexplained phenomena, or the speed at which science is gradually uncovering the answers?
他居然拿屎！嘿，他拿屎！
No. The water-breathing tree in Montenegro is the result of groundwater rising after heavy rainfall and finding an outlet through natural openings. When a tree has a hollow trunk, it can act as a natural conduit, allowing enough pressure to build up for water to spray out like a fountain.
آقا سوز بارون ماهی سیویسو به کی باور شکلی گفت ماهی شب تازه سیوی درد کن
At first, many people assumed this was nothing more than drifting lake ice. But about 15 minutes later, the combined force of wind and water pressure pushed massive ice sheets directly into the lakeside community along Mila Lax Lake. It is a powerful demonstration of the tremendous force moving ice can generate.
Look, because it's stopping, it's piling up. Fucking house! You need to call somebody.
Who to call? The village isn't open.
911. No, 911's not gonna help, but it's going into their house. Do you know who lives over here? Because it went through their door.
At first glance, this looks like some kind of organized ritual. In reality, it is known as an ant mill, or death spiral. When ants lose the pheromone trail that guides them, they begin following the ant in front of them, forming a continuous circle that can last for hours until the colony becomes exhausted. Imagine you were out in the middle of the ocean and the sky suddenly changed like this. How would you react? What would be the very first thing you would do? Let us know in the comments. This is one of those videos that continues to spark debate about its authenticity. With today's advances in CGI and AI-generated imagery, the line between genuine footage and digitally created content is becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish. The city of Baalbek, Lebanon, was struck by a flash flood following an intense localized rainstorm. Muddy water rushed through the streets at high speed, a classic example of urban flash flooding, which occurs when rainfall overwhelms a city's drainage system faster than it can carry the water away.
No, I'm not.
The lightning struck only a few meters from the camera, turning the frame almost completely white for an instant. The surface temperature of a lightning bolt can be hotter than the surface of the sun, and all of that energy is released in less than a second. The lake surface in Alaska is so clear that you can see straight through the ice below. High-quality ice like this forms when water freezes slowly under conditions with very few impurities and very few trapped air bubbles, creating an almost perfect crystal structure. What does this moment remind you of? We'd love to hear your first impression. This scene shows hidden underground energy expressing itself at the surface. Water, rock, and pressure interact to create a phenomenon that is both physically powerful and visually striking. It is one of the ways Earth continually rebalances the forces within. Water pressure inside a living tree, created by the movement of sap and water through its tissues, can be strong enough to spray outward when it suddenly finds an opening. It is clear evidence that the water transport system inside plants is constantly active and under real pressure, not just passively absorbing moisture.
This has been pouring for a minute.
What draws your attention more in this clip, the sound or the movement of the water? A nearly perfect circular smoke ring hovered in the Kansas sky, long enough to catch people's attention. In physics, this is a type of vortex ring, the same principle behind an ordinary smoke ring, but on a much larger scale. Phenomena like this often form after explosions or industrial incidents.
Фотографии на могилках, типа что Тесла видит фотографии, но реально посмотрите могилки, они старые, и здесь фотографий даже нет ни у кого.
Посмотри, Лена.
Вот, смотрите, ну реально же вот.
4. Смотрите, ну реально здесь никого нет. Вот, прям возле машины, с твоей стороны.
Смотри, он на нас смотрит, Лена.
Repeated phenomena around this area at night were recorded over several consecutive evenings. Low light, limited camera angles, and rural environmental conditions can often make ordinary events appear more unusual than they really are. But that is also why footage like this is worth analyzing carefully. Underground fires are real and can continue for weeks or even months with very few visible signs at the surface. Peat layers or organic material in the soil can sustain slow combustion with limited oxygen, which is one reason wildfires can reignite even after the surface flames appear to be extinguished. The unusual clouds over La Pampa province in Argentina were shaped by powerful airflow inside the storm system. When wind direction and speed change with altitude, cloud layers can stretch, twist, and form dramatic shapes that are rarely seen over flat terrain. The forest in the Great Smoky Mountains is illuminated by synchronized fireflies, one of the rarest biological phenomena in North America. Near Hayfield, the wind was strong enough to push the water at Kinder Downfall back upward into the air instead of letting it fall normally. This happens when wind pressure overcomes the pull of gravity on the water flow at that moment, and the terrain of Kinder Scout is one of the few places where conditions can create this effect more often. This storm clearly illustrates what meteorologists call a strong pressure gradient. When the difference in air pressure becomes large over a short distance, winds can accelerate suddenly and generate enough force to move almost anything in their path. The tube-shaped cloud that appeared in Argentina in 2021 shared many features with Australia's famous morning glory cloud, a rare atmospheric wave that can stretch for hundreds of kilometers. Nature sometimes creates structures that even science needs more time to describe fully. These dolphins are not playing with the surfers. They are using the energy of the waves to move faster while spending less energy. This behavior has been well documented and shows just how precisely dolphins can read their aquatic environment. This newly formed crack running across the dry landscape may be linked to land subsidence, underground erosion, or the slow movement of sediment layers. Cracks like this often expand gradually over time and indicate that the geological structure beneath the surface is changing. These low-hanging white formations are ground fog formed when air temperature and humidity reach the point of condensation right at the Earth's surface. In fact, clouds and fog are the same phenomenon. The only real difference is the altitude at which they form. Natural gas trapped underground can migrate through fractures in the rock and escape to the surface in unpredictable ways. Because these hidden hazards often show no obvious warning signs, thorough geological surveys are essential before major infrastructure projects begin. The blue whale is not only the largest creature ever to have lived on Earth. What is truly remarkable is that a body on that scale can still move through the deep ocean almost completely silently. A highway camera on the M4 Dawn captured a lightning strike landing directly among moving traffic. On flat, open terrain like the plains, the distance between cloud base and ground can be much shorter, increasing the chance of a direct strike. In Nogales, floodwater formed rapidly after heavy rainfall. Impermeable asphalt combined with sloped terrain caused rainfall to become surface runoff, almost immediately, one of the most common reasons urban flash floods can develop so quickly and unpredictably.
Es que no sé si es que iba a llamar yo ahora si eso para llamar a la policía para si mandaban a los bomberos o qué. ¡Qué pasada! ¡Cayetanajo! ¿Qué?
This is known as a cottonwood fluff fire. During cottonwood season, the dry seed fibers can accumulate across the ground, and because they are extremely light and porous, they ignite almost instantly and spread rapidly. That's why fire warnings are often issued in some parts of North America during peak cottonwood season. Along coastlines like Florida's, differences in temperature between layers of air near the water can bend light in unusual ways. As a result, the setting sun may appear stretched flattened or even split into separate layers for a few brief moments before disappearing below the horizon. This glowing crystal jelly drifts through the darkness of the Atlantic like a living optical sculpture. Its bioluminescence is believed to help deter predators and attract potential mates, an effective communication system in an environment where sunlight never reaches. In the Jämtland region, Lake Blankfjärden is famous for the transparent ice that forms each winter. A combination of stable temperatures, clean water, and calm winds creates a natural ice quality that few places can match on this scale.
This one's probably about the length of our boat, but
the creature beneath the surface is the largest animal ever to have lived on Earth, and it's swimming just a short distance from people. Moments like this remind us that the oceans still hold far more than we fully understand or control. This kestrel is performing a technique known as hovering. By constantly adjusting its wing beats and body angle against the wind, it remains almost perfectly stationary in the air. Even more remarkable, its head stays nearly motionless, while the rest of its body moves, allowing it to track prey with exceptional precision. If you'd like to share, I'm curious, what device are you watching this video on? The dark shapes appearing around the Statue of Liberty are likely the result of angled lighting reflections or moisture layers in the atmosphere. The unique lighting conditions around New York Harbor, where low sunlight interacts with water and large structures, can produce surprisingly complex optical effects. The human-like figures emerging from the sea of clouds are a classic example of pareidolia, our brain's natural tendency to recognize familiar faces and shapes in random patterns. This is a well-documented neurological phenomenon rather than an optical illusion. This colorful, shimmering cloud is known as an iridescent cloud. Its brilliant colors form when sunlight is diffracted by tiny water droplets or ice crystals of nearly uniform size, producing a prism-like separation of light.
He's right there now.
This footage was captured near Knudsen Cove, where the water is relatively shallow, but still deep enough for an animal of this size to move comfortably close to both the shoreline and nearby people. A waterspout forms over the water in Russia. This type of weather phenomenon develops when rotating air beneath a thunderstorm extends down to the surface, and it can form much faster than most people have time to react. This phenomenon is known as a dust devil. Unlike tornadoes that form downward from clouds, dust devils begin at the ground when air near the surface becomes intensely heated, creating a sudden temperature difference with the air above. A brilliant blue flash lit up the clouds over Croatia on February 14th. This phenomenon may have been caused by a blue lightning discharge, an uncommon type of lightning that can appear when electrical discharges pass through different layers of the atmosphere, or by a unique optical effect produced under that day's specific weather conditions.
Oh, blessed Jesus, look at that. How many?
They're deeper in the clouds. It's so hard to look.
Have you ever looked up and seen an unusual sky, strange clouds, or a rare weather event where you live? Tell us where you're watching from and describe what you saw in the comments. Real observations from viewers are often just as fascinating as the footage we share.
Jesus. Oh, I've never seen nothing like it in my life. Praise God.
Look way over yonder, and what do you think I seen? I see a band.
Gonna hold my body down, ain't no grave. Gonna hold my body down when I hear that trumpet sound. Gonna get up out of the ground, ain't no grave. Gonna hold my...
Thousands of birds moving in perfect synchronization over mesquite created a phenomenon known as a murmuration. Remarkably, there is no leader directing the flock. Each bird simply responds to the movements of its nearest neighbors, using a few simple rules. Yet together they produce incredibly complex patterns that seem almost choreographed.
Crazy.
Many people in New York reported seeing what looked like a second sun in the sky. This is known as a sundog, a bright spot that appears on either side of the sun when sunlight is refracted through horizontally aligned hexagonal ice crystals in high-altitude clouds. Sverre Liljeqvist performed this downhill run at the Swatch Skiers Cup 2013. At that speed, every directional adjustment happens in less than a tenth of a second, and the ability to read the snow terrain in real time can determine the entire outcome. This giant tree-like shape is the result of intersecting tidal currents on the Kiantang River, where water flows collide and branch according to the riverbed. The tidal bore here is considered one of the most impressive in the world and attracts countless observers every year. A routine paragliding flight suddenly encountered a rotating air current, leaving the pilot almost completely out of control for a few seconds. This is why technical reflex training matters even more than experience alone. When something goes wrong, the body must react before the brain has time to fully analyze the situation. What is more frightening, the invisible air current or the moment you realize you are no longer in control?
I never want to fly again. Oh my God.
Tell us which state you're watching from, and have you ever seen a moose where you live? A large tornado formed in Russia. Tornadoes of this size can travel at high speeds while carrying enough destructive force to devastate everything in their path.
Look at this baby.
Have you ever stepped outside and witnessed something in nature that genuinely surprised you? Share where it happened and tell us what you saw in the comments below. The unusual shape in the sky over Tunapuna was most likely created by a combination of dense storm clouds, low-angle sunlight, and atmospheric shadows. Together, these elements formed a remarkably sharp boundary between light and dark that looked almost artificial. Many people think these dolphins are simply swimming alongside people off the coast of California. In reality, they are taking advantage of the natural energy of the waves to travel more efficiently, a behavior that has been well documented in dolphin species around the world. The creature that washed ashore in Acapulco left many people wondering what it was. In many similar cases, these so-called mysterious creatures turn out to be the decomposing remains of marine animals, whose original appearance has been altered beyond recognition.
Esos agujeros, por eso los agujeros parecen tentáculos. Huele feo. Ay, pues parece agujeros.
It's just a monster. See, there's a little more to go.
During winter, in New York, water sprayed into air that is cold enough can freeze almost instantly upon contact. Over many days, repeated freezing builds spectacular ice formations with shapes and colors that are nearly impossible to recreate artificially. The massive mayfly emergence in Central Florida is tied to the insect's extraordinary life cycle. After spending months or even years underwater as nymphs, millions emerge almost simultaneously to mate. Their adult lives last only a few hours to a few days, just enough time to reproduce before the cycle begins again. Meteoroids travel faster than a speeding bullet, often reaching speeds of tens of kilometers per second. As they enter Earth's atmosphere, compression of the air in front of them and intense heating cause them to glow brilliantly. Most burn up completely before reaching the ground. What we actually see is the superheated plasma surrounding the object, not the rock itself on fire. The creature in this footage appears unusual from this camera angle. However, many similar videos recorded in forests have later been identified as familiar animals, whose appearance was distorted by lighting camera perspective or mud covering their fur. Off the coast of Western Australia, these dolphins ride the waves with extraordinary precision. Their ability to sense changes in water pressure and anticipate wave movement is considered one of the clearest examples of environmental intelligence among marine mammals. If you found something fascinating in today's video, share it with someone you think would enjoy watching it too. The red figure in this footage appears to move in an unusual way. It may simply be a person whose appearance has been altered by camera optics, radiant heat, or reflected light factors that can dramatically change how cameras record objects under certain lighting conditions. Here we are watching a Falcon 9 spacecraft adjust its orientation using small thrusters that fire in short bursts. This system allows the rocket to control its rotation with remarkable precision while using only a minimal amount of propellant. This footage from Finland shows that lightning doesn't only affect the ground. When it strikes the water, electrical energy can spread outward across the surface, creating a hazard over a much larger area than many people realize. This is the aftermath of an infrastructure failure in Abakan, where a high-pressure water main ruptured. Pressure built up inside the municipal water system was strong enough to send water surging into the air and flood the surrounding area within minutes. White's tree frogs reproduce through external fertilization, with the eggs being fertilized outside the female's body in water. This reproductive strategy is common among amphibians, allowing large numbers of eggs to be fertilized at once and increasing the chances that some offspring will survive. At first glance, this looks like an object moving on its own. A closer look suggests it is most likely a small animal whose fur has become matted with mud and sand, making it appear completely different from its true form.
Что за животное?
А кто это такой? А кто это такой?
What is it? It's going for a long time.
A ball of light hovers over a field.
Looks like a fireball, but not really. It's the wrong color.
And this couple from Rich Valley, Alberta.
If you'd like to share, tell us where you're watching from and what natural phenomenon has surprised you the most in your part of the world.
To watch and experiencing a thunderstorm Wednesday evening when they saw this about a kilometer away from their home.
From your perspective, what do you think is happening in this clip? If you have a background in science engineering or image analysis, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Ini baru kali ini.
Banyak juga gitu. Saya ini sampai tua ini baru saya lihat begini.
Iya.
Saya ini masih dalam ketang, saya ada. Ini baru saya lihat.
This disc-shaped cloud over Kuala Lumpur is a lenticular cloud formed when stable airflow passes over elevated terrain. The human brain naturally recognizes familiar patterns, and a flattened circular shape is one of the forms most likely to trigger comparisons with flying saucers. What detail caught your attention first?
Next one is done.
Mammatus is a sea slug with one of the most unusual body structures in the ocean. Its transparent, expandable oral hood opens like a net to capture tiny crustaceans, a feeding strategy unlike that of most other marine invertebrates. This dangerous phenomenon occurred near Recife, Brazil, where a rotating column of air lifted water sand and lightweight debris into the sky. It can develop and disappear quickly, but while it lasts, its force is strong enough to pose a serious danger to anyone nearby. If White's tree frog's remarkable external fertilization caught your attention, don't forget to leave a 6 in the comments. This remarkably elongated shadow requires several conditions to occur. At the same time, the sun must be at just the right angle, the object must be at the proper altitude, and the atmosphere must be in the right state. When all of these factors align, a shadow can stretch many times longer than the object casting it. This expanding blue spiral over Europe was created by frozen exhaust from a Falcon 9 rocket. In the thin upper atmosphere, the exhaust does not disperse immediately. Instead, it expands into enormous geometric patterns that become vividly visible when illuminated from the right angle by sunlight. This bear wandered into a work site in Siberia out of curiosity. In Russia's remote wilderness, bears are often attracted by the smell of food garbage or human activity, especially as their natural habitat becomes more limited.
Здорово, друг. Я невкусный.
The creature in this clip appears only briefly before disappearing. Camera angles and reflections on the water can dramatically alter the appearance of an object, and many similar sightings have later been identified as familiar marine animals after closer analysis. Sabinus was hit by a hailstorm with hailstones nearly the size of tennis balls. Hail this large can dent vehicles, shatter windshields, and damage roofs within minutes. Their size depends on how long they remain suspended inside a thunderstorm by powerful updrafts before finally falling.
Miren nomás todo lo que está haciendo el granizo.
Our world is still filled with extraordinary wonders waiting to be discovered. If these incredible moments kept you watching until the end, don't forget to subscribe. and turn on notifications so you never miss our next adventure. And be sure to tell us in the comments which moment impressed you the most. Thanks for watching.